Welcome back to our deep dive into You're a
I
Badass.
should.
Last time we were talking about ditching limiting beliefs, self-love, making those big decisions. And now we're going to tackle something that's a little bit, I don't know, loaded for a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely.
Money.
Ooh, yeah. But you know what? Sincero doesn't shy away from it at all. She just jumps right in.
Okay, good.
And she has this really refreshing, straightforward approach to it. Like, she really emphasizes money as energy.
Money as energy. Okay. Tell me more about that.
Okay, so think of it this way. Everything in the universe is made up of energy, right?
Right.
And like attracts like. So if you're focused on lack and scarcity and I don't have enough, you're actually pushing abundance away. But when you shift your mindset to one of abundance and gratitude, you start to attract more wealth.
So it's not about like chasing money or obsessing over it.
Yeah.
It's more about aligning yourself with that flow of abundance.
Exactly. Recognizing that abundance is all around you
Okay.
and that you deserve to have it. But, she doesn't just like spout affirmations and call it a day. She gets real about how like our relationship with money can be kind of messed up.
Yeah, totally. Like sometimes I crave financial freedom, but then I feel kind of guilty about it.
Oh, yeah, that's super common. Sincere talks about that. Like, a lot of us have these beliefs about money, like money is the root of all evil, or rich people are greedy. And that creates a lot of conflict inside us
Yeah.
that can actually block you from attracting the wealth you want.
So how do you get rid of those beliefs? What are some actual things you can do to shift from that scarcity to abundance?
Okay, well, one thing Sincera suggests is visualization. So instead of just thinking about having money, really imagine yourself living that life you want. Like, feel the emotions of financial freedom. Picture yourself traveling, buying your dream house, whatever it is for you.
So you create a vision and then you almost like embody those feelings.
Exactly. It's about tricking your subconscious mind into believing that abundance is already yours.
I like that.
She also talks about the power of affirmations.
Oh yeah, like repeating positive statements about money. Does
Right.
that actually work?
Well, the idea is that by saying these things over and over, you're reprogramming your mind.
Okay.
You're replacing the old beliefs with new ones.
I'm willing to try it. Like, what are some examples of those affirmations?
Well, Sincero says to create affirmations that resonate with you, that feel good.
Okay.
So something like, money flows to me easily, or I am a magnet for wealth and prosperity.
Okay.
Whatever feels true for you.
And what about gratitude? I know Sincero talks a lot about gratitude.
Yes, gratitude is so important for shifting that energy. Even if you don't feel wealthy right now, focus on what you're grateful for. The roof over your head, food on the table,
Yeah.
When you approach money with gratitude, you're telling the universe, hey, I appreciate what I have, and I'm open to receiving more.
Right. And you're focusing on what you do have instead of what you don't have.
Exactly.
Okay, now I have to ask you about something that I think is like a big thing, especially for people who are like freelancers, entrepreneurs. That fear of charging what you're worth.
Oh, yeah. Imposter syndrome. We all know it.
Yes.
Sincero talks about that too. Like, she reminds us that we all have special gifts and we deserve to be paid fairly for what we do.
But sometimes it's hard to believe that,
Yeah.
Like you just don't feel good enough.
Oh, totally. She wants us to challenge that negative self-talk.
Yeah.
Remember your value. Like, one thing she suggests is to ask yourself, if I were someone else, what would I pay myself for this?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Because then you have to look at it from a different perspective.
Yeah, it helps you step outside of your own head. And sometimes it also comes down to confidence. Like, Sincero talks about owning your expertise.
Right. You got to believe in what you offer.
Exactly. When you undervalue yourself, you're not only doing yourself a disservice, you're doing the people you serve a disservice.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
But what about people who work in fields where it's just like hard to make a lot of money? Like, how do you apply this abundance mindset if you're in a job that's not known for like high salaries?
Well, Sincera says to challenge those beliefs, like, are they really true?
Oh, yeah.
And to explore other options. Like, she says to ask yourself, how else could I use my skills to make more money?
So like thinking outside the box.
Totally. Be open to new possibilities. She tells this great story about a friend of hers who quit her corporate job to open a nail salon.
Okay.
And everyone thought she was crazy, but she followed her passion. And guess what? She ended up making way more money than she did before.
Wow. It's like you got to take that leap of faith, trust your gut, even if it seems a little crazy.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not even about changing careers completely, but just finding ways to leverage your skills to create other income streams.
Right, like a side hustle.
Exactly. You can have multiple streams of abundance flowing to you.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about Mindset, abundance, charging what you're worth, exploring new paths. What about those times when, like, you have a financial setback? Because those are going to happen.
Oh, yeah. Sincero doesn't sugarcoat it. She says setbacks are part of life.
Right. Like, no matter how positive you are, sometimes things just don't go your way.
Totally. But she says that setbacks aren't failures, they're learning experiences.
Okay.
It's about looking at them as like detours on the path, not the end of the road.
So instead of getting discouraged, you find the lesson and keep going.
Exactly. Resilience is key. She talks about staying positive, even when things are tough.
I think she says somewhere that your perspective is everything.
Totally. Your attitude determines your reality. When you approach problems with a positive mindset, you're way more likely to find solutions and attract good opportunities.
Speaking of mindset,
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious what Sincero says about forgiveness, but this time in the context of money.
Ooh, good one.
Like so many people carry around baggage about past money mistakes or even resentment toward people who have hurt them financially.
Oh, yeah, big time.
So what's her take on that?
She's a huge believer in forgiveness, even with money.
Okay, but how do you actually forgive yourself for messing up with money or forgive someone who's wronged you financially?
Well, she says forgiveness doesn't mean you're saying what they did was okay.
Right.
It's about letting go of the anger, the resentment, the guilt, because those negative emotions can really block abundance.
So holding on to that stuff is just hurting you.
Exactly. Sincero wants us to see those past mistakes as lessons
Okay.
and focus on building a better future.
Didn't she also say something about boundaries?
Yes. Forgiveness doesn't mean letting people walk all over you. It's about learning from what happened and protecting yourself going forward.
Right, taking your power back.
Exactly.
Wow, this has been so helpful.
Sure.
Okay, so just to recap what we've talked about with money, it sounds like it all boils down to shifting your mindset from scarcity to abundance.
Right. Recognizing that money is energy and like attracts like.
Yeah, and remembering your worth, not being afraid to charge what you deserve.
And don't forget staying positive, seeing setbacks as opportunities, and being resilient.
And that whole forgiveness piece.
Yeah.
Forgiving yourself, forgiving others.
Yep. It's a whole package deal.
I like
You
it.
got to have the right mindset and the practical strategies.
You know, it's interesting. It all goes back to those core things we talked about earlier, like self-love, presence, and making decisions. When you love yourself, you believe you deserve abundance.
Right.
When you're present, you're open to receiving it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you make that decision to create wealth, you set things in motion.
Yeah, it's all connected. And before we move on, there's one more thing I want to point out that Sincero talks about.
Okay.
Surround yourself with the right people.
Oh, yeah. I remember she using that analogy of the crabs in a bucket. Like if one tries to climb out, the others pull it back down.
Yeah, it's a powerful image, right? It
Yeah.
shows how much other people can influence us, sometimes in a negative way.
And a lot of times they don't even mean to. They might just be projecting their own fears or limitations onto you.
Totally. That's why it's so crucial to spend time with people who believe in you, who want to see you succeed.
So it's about being intentional with who you spend your time with. Surrounding yourself with people who lift you up instead of bringing you down.
Absolutely. Create a positive environment that supports your growth.
This has been such a great conversation.
Ah.
We've covered so much,
We have.
from self-love and presence to abundance in relationships.
Well, get ready for part 3, where we'll wrap up this whole deep dive with some final thoughts and a question for you to think about.
Okay, so here we are, the final part of our deep dive into You Are a Badass. We've talked about so much, like all those beliefs that hold us back, self-love, abundance, even facing our fears.
It's been quite a journey. Sincero really covers it all.
If I had to, sum up this whole book in one sentence, I'd say it's all about empowering you to create a life you're actually excited about.
I like that. It's about recognizing that you have the power to change things. You don't have to be stuck with the way things are.
Sincero keeps reminding us that we're all capable of amazing things.
We really are. And it all starts with self-love.
Right. And remember, she's not talking about being arrogant or anything. It's about recognizing you're worthy and being kind to yourself.
Exactly. Understanding that you deserve happiness. You deserve to have your dreams come true.
And when you have that self-love, it's like all these other things start to fall into place, like being present, being grateful, forgiving yourself and others, being brave.
Yeah, and then taking action. Sincero is all about taking action, even if it's a tiny step.
And she gives you so many tools to actually do it.
Right, like affirmations, visualization, being mindful, setting intentions, finding your tribe.
And I love that she doesn't take it all so seriously. She's funny, She tells stories. It makes the whole self-improvement thing way less scary.
Totally. It's like she's saying, hey, this is a journey. We're going to mess up sometimes. Let's laugh about it. Have some fun.
Exactly. Personal growth shouldn't feel like a punishment. It should be an adventure.
So to wrap things up, I have a question for you to think about.
Ooh, hit me.
What's one small thing you can do right now, today, to move towards that life you really want? It doesn't have to be huge.
Right, like maybe write down some goals or spend 5 minutes thinking about what you're grateful for, or call that friend you've been meaning to talk to.
The point is to take action. Trust that the universe will meet you halfway.
You've got this. Remember, you have the power to change your life. You are a badass. So go out there and make your dreams happen.